Hello, dear friends, I'm with you. Today, we are going to look at a beautiful mod for mystical animals. It is called Mythic Mounts, that is, mythical riding creatures. The mod is available only for new versions of Minecraft, starting with 1.16.5 and ending with the newest 1.18.2 at the moment, but note that it is suitable exclusively for factories. Unfortunately, this fashion does not exist on Forge yet. If you don't know how to install factories, then watch my tutorial video. There is a link to it at the top. In addition, to play with the Mythic Mounts mod, you must install an additional Huckley mod. As always, you will find links to download all the mods necessary for the game in the description under the video. So, the Mythic Mounts mod adds 12 mythical creatures to the game. All of them can be tamed and used as mounts. They all live in different biomes and are both terrestrial, aquatic, or even flying. They look very beautiful and come in different colors, so it makes sense to travel around the world in the hope of finding such pets. Absolutely on all mythical sled animals, you can put a chest, and, depending on how big and strong this animal is, they will have a different number of additional slots. Some of these animals are initially neutral to the players and will not attack you until you strike first. Others, on the contrary, are initially aggressive and very dangerous until you have tamed them. Some of the animals are also fighting, and in case of an attack by hostile creatures on the owner, they will protect him or follow an order from the owner to attack one or another mob. Other creatures, on the contrary, are exclusively riding animals and will not protect the owner. And before we consider each type of mythical riding creature separately, let's first look at how to handle them, using the example of these cute birds, which are called postal birds. First, we need to tame them. There are two taming mechanics in fashion. The first one is similar to how you tame a horse in the usual vanilla Minecraft. That is, for taming, we click essentially with the right mouse button and sit for a while until the hearts appear. But remember that some animals can be aggressive, and in addition to the fact that they will try to throw you off, they will also bite you. So maybe you will need good armor, treatment potions, or some other dope. But this does not apply to postal birds either. And as you can see, my bird is already covered with hearts, that is, it is tamed. The second method of domestication is feeding the animal a special feed. This food is different for each type of mount. In particular, the postal bird can be fed with sweet berries. This way you cannot sit on horseback, but the animal will still be tamed. Another question is that the favorite food may not always be at hand, even in the right amount. Because sometimes you have to feed for quite a long time before the animal becomes tame. In addition, some animals are very aggressive, and it will not be possible to safely lure them. And while you're sitting on horseback, they can't take you home, so the detour method is safer in some respects. After the animal has been tamed, you can open the creature's inventory in the usual way by pressing the English and Russian buttons while sitting astride it. There are slots for the saddle and armor. On all creatures in the Mythic Mounts fashion, you can wear ordinary horse saddles and armor, but at the same time they will be displayed on each creature in their own way. Leather armor can also be worn, and at the same time, it can be painted according to the principle of Minecraft leather. That is, not only in 16 vanilla colors, but also in any shades. In addition, as I have already mentioned, you can put the chest on your back with your mount, just like with lava or a donkey, and then they will have inventory slots. But unlike the same donkeys, you can remove this chest with scissors. Just right-click on the animal with scissors, and the chest will be removed. In order to ride a horse, you should definitely put a saddle on the back of your mount. This can be done either through his inventory or simply by right-clicking the saddle on the riding beast. But in addition to riding, you can also give your pet orders to stay, follow, or wander. This is done using the control item and by default it is a regular stick. Just right-click on the mount, holding a stick in your hand, and you will be able to choose the behavior mode you need. In addition, there is a special staff in fashion. It looks like this, and in theory, it should have a craft, and it's like this. But in the game, for some reason, my crafting didn't work, so it's possible that this staff was made a treasure, and now you can only get it as a loot or some kind of trading lot. This staff is extremely useful, because with it you can not only control your mount like a stick, but also carry out its summoning. To do this, the staff must first be tied to the manta ray with the right mouse button on the animal, holding the staff in your hand. You will see green particles. Then, after moving away for some distance, you can right-click the staff on the ground, and you will see particles of white steam, and your pet will come to you. Sometimes it doesn't work the first time, and you have to click the staff several times. But keep in mind that the staff has a radius of action, and if you go too far away, you will see these black particles instead of your pet. Only one mount can be tied to one staff. The staff is not wasted, so do not worry that it will break after a certain number of uses. Riding mythical creatures is very simple. Although the mounts are divided into land, flying, and waterfowl, their management works according to the same principle. It's very similar to riding vanilla horses. That is, you need to put the saddle down, sit astride, press the forward movement key, and point the cursor in the direction where you want to go. If your mount is a flyer, then you need to quickly click the jump key to take off. Not just click and hold, as in some other mods, but to click. Then your mount will slowly gain altitude. If you stop clicking on the jump, then your pet will gradually descend to the ground. When the height is sufficient, then proceed in the same way as on a ground mount, that is, the forward movement key and the cursor. On waterfowl mounts, clicking the jump key works somewhat differently. Instead of gaining altitude, they get a boost to speed. That is, when you press the jump, you kind of spur your mount. By the way, water mounts can be pulled ashore, and they can carry you on land. That's just on the ground, they will not be as fast as in the water. On Earth, they become quite long, which is absolutely logical. Creatures from the Mythic Mounts mod can be multiplied. To do this, you need two individuals of the same species. They have no gender, like vanilla Minecraft creatures. Keep in mind that animals must first be tamed, and secondly, absolutely healthy. That is, if they do not have a full scale of health, then first of all they need to be improved. This is done with your favorite food. Oh yes, the favorite food in fashion differs in 3 types: the one that can be tamed, the one that can be propagated, and the one that is considered food for this creature. All 3 types of feeds are suitable for restoring your pet's health. If the animals are tame, there are 2 of them and they are healthy, then you need to give them any of their favorite breeding food. The cub will appear immediately according to the vanilla system. The resulting cub will be considered wild, so you will have to tame it. It will not be possible to quickly raise a cub with your favorite food, so you will have to wait until it grows up by itself. But you can quickly tame it with food for taming. There is one very cool feature in the fashion for mythical mounts, which I have not seen in other mods. You can pet your pet. This is done like this: sit down, and essentially right-click with an empty hand. At the same time, your pet will be covered with hearts, and make a sound characteristic of this creature. In my opinion, this is a very original feature. Now you can communicate more closely with your pets. And what do you think about this? Will you pet your pets? Well, now let's finally look at all the animals that are added to the Mythic Mounts mod. How exactly the name of the first creature should be pronounced, I could not find out with absolute accuracy. But if you believe the translator, it should sound like Acacia, and Google Translator identified the language as Galician. In fact, it is a snow leopard, or I do not know, just a leopard, because, like absolutely all animals in this fashion, badgers come across different colors, not just white. These cats are not often found, always in snow-covered biomes, in particular in a snow-covered mountain grove, in a snow-covered taiga, on snow-covered taiga hills, and in the taiga mountains. And although they are predators, nevertheless, players are not attacked first, so you can approach them without fear. However, wild, they attack sheep, goats, rabbits, and chickens. They are tamed with lamb and salmon, and breed with rabbit, chicken, lamb, and salmon. Items with the meat tag are considered food for them. The badgers have a couple of unique abilities. The first of them is the ability to run on loose snow. All other creatures get bogged down in the loose snow, but the kittens rush through the snow without any harm to themselves and their saddle. And they can also climb steep walls, but for this you need to rest against the wall, press the forward movement key, and click the jump key in the same way as you do for takeoff. Tamed badgers will protect their master. The default stats are health 28 units, attack 10, inventory 12 slots. As for the default stats, they are registered on the mods page, so I bring them in the video too. However, they do not quite correspond to reality. 100% correct is the number of inventory slots, but with the health of the mounts, I noticed such a thing that in fact it differs in different individuals. Well, it seems like in vanilla horses, you can find a pet with stronger health and weaker health, so they are far from non-standard. It makes sense to tame them all and check for stats, as well as multiply them to get a stronger mount. The next animal with another mysterious name, apparently called Arsalan. And in fact, it's a huge turtle. You will not find such a thing often, and it occurs exclusively in the deep temperate ocean. She is not hostile to people, so you can approach her safely, unless of course you are going to beat her. Her favorite food is salmon and cod, and this food is suitable for both domestication and reproduction. Items with the tag fish are considered food, that is, you can heal turtles with any fish. The tamed turtle has the largest inventory of all mounts, which makes it undoubtedly the coolest creature for water cargo transportation. However, she will not defend her master if he is attacked. By default, she has a health of 60 units, an attack of 6, and an inventory of as many as 54 slots. Postal birds, or just pigeon ostriches. These birds come across exclusively in the jungle biome, but quite often. Their colors are very bright to our delight. So I think many animal lovers will like them. They are initially not aggressive towards the players and generally try to escape, but it's still not worth beating them, because even running away, they can fight back. These birds are herbivores, and they have sweet berries for taming, and sweet berries and pieces of watermelon for reproduction. Items with the fruit tag are considered food. These colorful pigeons will protect their owner if they are attacked, or if the owner himself attacks someone. By default, they have a small inventory, 9 slots, 20 health units, attack 4. Fierce wolves. There are tops not often, and you can see them mainly in the snowy taiga mountains, or in the Podzolic taiga, where giant trees grow. I personally really like their model, and when you sit on top of them, they even twist their ears. Fierce tops, though predators, but initially not aggressive to the player, but they are furiously hunting sheep and skeletons like vanilla wolves. breeding food, hare, chicken, lamb, beef, and pork. In short, meat, but you need to tame them with bones like vanilla wolves. Items with the meat tag are considered food. The tops will stand like a mountain for their master. By default, they have 12 inventory slots, health 30 units, attack 7. Dragons, and these creatures are extremely rare and can only be found in underground caves somewhere at the level of the 40th block. I don't like the model of dragons from this fashion as much as in the fashion of Ice and Fire. Well, in general, nothing either. Dragons are considered predators, and they are obviously hostile to the players. However, their favorite food is not meat, but golden carrots, golden apples, and shining slices of watermelon. With the help of these items, they multiply. Well, for taming you need to use gold bars, diamonds, or emeralds. Items with the meat tag are considered food. Tamed dragons protect their master from any danger, and by default, they have 40 health units, 10 attack, and the size of the inventory is 27 slots. Griffins. They do not occur often and exclusively in mountain biomes. Griffins, in my opinion, are one of the most beautiful creatures in fashion. In addition to a good model, they also have stunningly beautiful textures. They have a huge number of colors, one more luxurious than the other. In general, griffins should be caught, if not for the sake of riding them, then for the sake of admiring them unequivocally. They are predators, they hunt sheep and rabbits, but they do not attack the players first. Favorite food is mutton and rabbit meat. Both are suitable for both reproduction and domestication. Items with the meat tag are considered food. Tame griffins protect their owner, and by default, they have 35 health units, attack 7, but the inventory is relatively small, 12 slots. Another creature with a strange name is the lizard gecko Toho. This huge lizard-like lizard is not often found, and it can be found either in large caves close to the surface or in mountain caves somewhere at the level of the 60th block. Despite their ferocious appearance, a cross between a monitor lizard and a crocodile, they are actually absolutely not aggressive, and for some reason are considered omnivores, although their favorite food is watermelons, pumpkins, and hay blocks. Moreover, these feeds are suitable for both domestication and reproduction. Food is items with the herbivore tag. That is, crocodile monitor lizards will eat almost any fruit and vegetables. Such a lizard will not protect its owner, but by default, it has 27 inventory slots, health 35 units, attack 4. A giant moth. Unlike most of the previous ones, this is a fairly common creature, and it also pleases us with a wide variety of colors. You can find it in the dark forests, and it is absolutely not aggressive to the players. Giant moths are herbivores, and their favorite breeding food is sugar, pieces of watermelon, and shining pieces of watermelon. But you need to tame them with flowers. Food for them is considered to be items with the tag nectar, which generally includes fruits and berries. They cannot protect their owner. By default, they have 10 health units, attack 2, and inventory has only 6 slots. The next creature we have is aquatic, and it is called a giant nudibranch. And indeed, it has some distant resemblance to nudibranch. It occurs quite often, but only in warm oceans near coral reefs. And it looks like a camouflage coral is sticking out of his ass. Nudibranchs are very bright and beautiful, and fans of building underwater cities and bases will undoubtedly please. The giant nudibranch is a herbivore, and its favorite food for reproduction is kelp, but for domestication, it is necessary to use sea grass. Items with the algae tag are considered food. The nudibranch is not aggressive. You can safely approach it, but it also does not know how to protect its owner. By default, he has an inventory of 9 slots, health 25 units, attack 3. The riding lizard is quite common, but only in the biomes of deserts and wastelands. Despite its relatively small size and a certain similarity to pachycephalosaurs, riding lizards are predators. They hunt chickens and rabbits and are initially hostile towards the player. Despite the fact that they are considered predators, their favorite food in addition to rabbit, chicken, and rotten meat is pumpkin. With the help of these feeds, you can propagate them, but they are tamed exclusively for chicken and rabbit meat. Items with the tag scavenger are considered food. Tamed riding lizards protect their master, but by default they have only 20 units for attacks, and the size of the inventory is 6 slots. In addition to the upper world, we also have a Nether sender. And if there are no mystical riding creatures in the Vundera yet, then there is a chance to meet a couple of varieties of such mounts in the Nether. The name of the first one translates literally as a nightmare, but personally I think that this is not a nightmare at all, but very much a horsefire. The fire horse lives in basalt deltas and valleys of the Sands of Souls. He is initially aggressive towards the player and does not like skeletons very much, so he destroys them. The fact that this is a fire horse is also confirmed by the fact that this horse can walk on lava, no worse than a law in America, and does not receive damage from fire in principle. On such a hot steed, you can safely jump into a lava lake from a cliff, and nothing will happen to you or your steed. The fire horse's favorite food is a fire rod and a fire charge. With these items, you can get the foal's fire. The horse is tamed by fire with coal, simple or wood, as well as bones. Items with the tag mushrooms and roots are considered food. That is, you can pole your horse with all sorts of purple and hanging roots. And of course, do not discount the various embers, bones, and others from the list of favorite feeds. This hot Sivaburka will protect his master. His health is 35 units, and so again, and the inventory is 12 slots. Well, the last creature from the mod today is a hell of a bat. You can only find it in a distorted or in a crimson forest, and then not often. It is considered omnivorous, but it is aggressive towards players. Her favorite breeding food is pork, apples, and rotten eggs, and you can tame it exclusively with pork. Items with the tag scavenger are considered food. A tamed hellbat will protect its master. By default, her health is 25 units, her attack is 4, and the inventory size is 9 slots. Mounts can be pulled out of the cave or dragged into hell, although this is a rather tricky trick. I couldn't do it on horseback, but I managed to drag it on a rope. However, not always the first time, but I think that after practicing, everyone will be able to drag their pet to the world they need sooner or later. There are many configs in fashion for mythical sled animals that you can change to your taste. There is almost everything here, from how often certain animals will spawn, to how difficult they will be to tame, what kind of favorite food they will have, whether they will protect their owner, and what size of inventory and stats they will have. Well, I've told you everything I found out about the Mythic Mounts mod. In my opinion, the mod is made of very high quality, and despite the fact that it is not as big as the same Eisenfire or Alex Pug, it is interesting to play with it. All models and textures of creatures look great. They are all very different. There are land animals, sea animals, and even flying ones. Everyone will be able to find a riding creature to their taste. Personally, I was just conquered by the griffins and the horsefire. And which creature from the mod did you like the most? It seems to me that if you create a fantasy assembly at factories and not at Forge, then it's worth looking at this fashion. I think it will complement it well. And see you soon. Bye bye.